Hello everyone, this is Ishita Agrawal Sahni again, and today I'll be discussing with you about the chapter that is known as ethics and governance. Now, these days in the business organizations, it is like becoming a mandate to be very ethical, and the activities which you are performing should be morale boosting rather than deceiving, and like deceitful activity should be avoided. So basically for these things we have to look into the ways that are ethical more than the ways that are unethical and deceitful to anyone, to your clients, your investors, your colleagues, everyone. So basically we'll be discussing about two phases, that are ethics, and second will be the governance. So beginning with ethics, what do you mean by ethics? The first word we have to learn is ethics. Ethics has been made up of two words, that is ethics has been made up of one word, which is a Greek word, that is ethos. Ethos refers to the character, the guiding beliefs which you are carrying in your mind, the standards and the ideals that pervade a group, a community, or people. So that will be termed to a word called ethos or ethics. So basically the concept of ethics has different features. All right, so ethics, firstly ethics tells us the behavior, about the behavior of a person. All right, so the person shall be required to perform the work with which is full of ethics, and which is not at all deceitful to any person, which is not harmful to any person. So it deals with the fundamental, very basic feature is that it deals with the fundamental human relationship. Okay, it is not into technicalities, it is considering the fundamental relationship of human with human, human with the objects, human with the responsibilities. All right, then ethics in business. Yeah, these are the general terms. Firstly we'll be discussing about ethics in business. Now, what do you understand by ethics in business? Ethics is business in business means like the moral principles, the standards, the benchmarks which an organization pertains to has to be kept with very fragile care. All right, it means, for example, there is a business, I'm appointed as an employee, okay, and there I'm believed to be serving the organization with very good services, as well as the outside customers with my services, and maintaining along with that I have to maintain the goodwill of the company. All right, so for that I have to follow ethics in business also. Okay, now ethics may lead you to loss making organization also. All right, so there are some of the disadvantages also of the ethics, but what are the advantages of business ethics? In case you are following the ethics in your business, what advantages you will be fetching? Okay, so the advantages that you will be getting, firstly you will be getting goodwill. Okay, on individual, rather on macro basis also you will be getting the benefits of ethics. Everyone will be having a good reputation, you will be having a good reputation in everyone's else's eyes. All right, you'll be having the confidence of the customers, of the investors, of the all the parties dealing with you, and you'll be retaining and attaining the talent, right? When you are an organization and you are an ethical organization, the people who are outside your company and who aspire to work there in your organization will be having a image that is very ethical, that this company, this organization works in ethical manner, and will not be having any kind of problems. We'll be dealing with good people, we'll be under good people. All right, and we'll be learning from good environment. That raises the confidence among the customers also. So that is the second point, attaining and retaining the talent. Thirdly, in case you are a good organization, you will be having the investor loyalty. Now, what do you mean by investor loyalty? Investor loyalty means, in case you are a deceitful organization, you never pay your interest, you never pay your rent back to the building lender. You never pay the bills properly to your clients, to anyone, so no one will be sure about you, that no one will refer you, no one will recommend you to someone else. So that creates a mess up for the organization, and that creates ultimately in the wealth minimization of the shareholders also. So for that you have to be ethical organization. In case an organization is ethical, you will be having the loyalty of the investors too. All right, no one will ever think to cheat you, no one will ever think to deceive you. All right, next thing, customer satisfaction. Yeah, customer satisfaction, this is the foremost goal of the organization, to make their customers satisfied of their products, of their services they have been providing. All right, and for the regulators also, yeah, the regulators regulating an organization, whether it would be SEBI, the company law board, the NCLT, whosoever, whatsoever it is, they'll be having the confidence that this is a compliant organization, this is an ethical organization, and you will be kept out of the defaulter list. Trust me, in case there is some mistake or any kind of fraud in your company on individual basis, your organization will get saved if it is in the good books of the regulators. So maintain ethical environment in your organization. These are some of the benefits, some advantages that a company enjoys being ethical. All right, now what is the scope of business ethics, where it should be used, what are the places, what are the situations in which you have to use the business ethics. First things first, we'll be discussing about ethics in finance. Right, in finance, it is the most crucial branch of every organization, because the finance is the only place, only department from where the funds are to be procured. Right, in accounting, there may be window dressing, misleading financial analysis, the related party transactions are not arm's length, and if the insider trading of securities are being performed in your organization. All right, executive compensation, if it is being if the parties are being deceived for it, the bribery, kickbacks, and overbilling of expenses, facilitation payments, all these things are getting window dressed, then your organization is not at all ethical. And in case you want to inculcate your organization and make it ethical, you have to perform very ethically. Right, second thing is ethics in marketing. Right, when you are about to market whatever product you have been serving, whatever services you have been serving, you have to be very careful that you use the ethical methods. Right, whatever the product, whatever the service you want to advertise that only. Okay, like some of the advertisements, for example, there is an advertisement for the product of a cold drink. Yeah, we have seen many of the soft drink advertisements are deceitful, that they are showing something, some other thing, that they are focusing on some other thing rather than their own product. All right, for example, deodorant ads, cologne ads, they are not at all appropriate these days. In fact, in India only these are very unethical. Alright, in other organizations, I don't think, the foreign organizations, I don't think there is much. Yeah, there are also deceitful ads, but in India, marketing has become a jargon for the people. People do MBA, people do MCA also, every management course they do, but they don't know the meaning of ethics in marketing. In any field, I should say, in any field, if you are not at all ethical, you are not going to grow, you are not going to flourish, and you will be harmful for yourself also and for the organization as well. So you have to be very careful while performing any of the activities in the organization. Alright, so in ethics and marketing, there are some of the issues being faced by the employees. For example, pricing, there are some price fixing issues also. Price discriminations are there. For example, for a similar product, another company is offering different price and you have been selling it on the high prices. Alright, anti-competitive practices have been performed since centuries. In fact, you have to be very careful while purchasing anything, because there are some of the practices being carried. For example, tie up sellings, bid rigging. These are some of the activities that you have to avoid. Okay, misleading advertisements that we have already talked about. Surrogate advertising, for example, um, there are many of the companies known for some other product. For example, a liquor company, it is known just for making the liquor, while they have been advertising for the apple juice as well, for soda water, normal water as well. So these are the surrogate advertising methods which should be avoided. Alright, black and grey markets, completely boycott these markets. If you want to perform ethically, completely boycott these markets, because these are not known to general public. These are criminal markets, I should say, because in black and grey markets there is no regulator, you are not under any surveillance, and in case you are not under any surveillance, you are in danger. Alright, some of the IPOs, FPOs are there which are regulated. Generally every IPO, every FPO is regulated by SEBI. Alright, so in case these shares are being sold in the black or grey markets, you should be very careful and you should not purchase it. These are the ethics for marketing. Alright, some of these ethics in marketing have to be followed, and these deceitful activities should be completely avoided. Then we come to ethics in production. While producing anything, while procurement of the raw material, you have to be very careful that raw material has to be brought in ethical manner. Okay, if you are getting anything, if you are bringing any raw material in your company in unethical manner, you are going to face many of the circumstances that may lead to imprisonment also. Alright, ethics in production is required because you should not harm the society at large, because when the production is unethical, it will be affecting many of the people. It is not affecting only a department, only a particular department. Alright, so you should be very careful while producing any product or serving your services. That is ethics in production. Okay, next point and the last point, but it is the major point of this discussion. It is ethics in human resource. Human resource management should be done in the manner which is very far-sighted. Okay, it should be far-sighted, because human resource management, in case the human resource management is unethical, every HR, every employee in your company is unethical. Trust me, your companies or your company or organization is going to end everything, end every effort of yours. Alright, why I'm still talking, I'm not well today. Yeah, I'm still talking because I just want you all to know what is the importance of ethics in every phase of your life. It is not important that you should only inculcate the word ethics in your organization. You should inculcate it in your general life also. Alright, because without ethics, no one is going to trust you. Alright, फिर आता है आपका the ethical issues faced by HRM. What will be the ethical issues being faced by the human resource management? First thing is ego. You should avoid ego. In case your senior, your junior is trying to make you understand something, please understand that, because they are telling you not for their own benefit. Okay, they are guiding you. Okay, be careful what you say, be careful what you hear, be careful about whatever you count for. Okay, next thing is sexual harassment. Now that has been the major topic these days. Sexual harassment, you should be very careful while talking to opposite sexes, not only for the men, for the women also, I would say, because I have seen some of the women harassing males also. Okay, you should be kept away from all these things. You should be kept very much beware of these things. Okay, and that is done by the HRM, human resource management. like a department is not your enemy, they are your friends. All right, you have to be very careful about the activities being performed by you as well as the your colleagues, your seniors, your juniors. You have to be very careful about that. Okay, so never indulge into any kind of activity that is involved in sexual harassment. Next point, discrimination of whistleblowers. Now, who are whistleblowers? We'll be saying whistleblowers are those people who inform the higher authorities about the wrong practices, about the maligned intentions of the employees being carried in their head while working. All right, so whistleblowers, the discrimination of whistleblowers would work out. If you are trying to threat them, to make them fear of you, you cannot, because the whistleblower is intended, the whistleblower department or whistleblower person, individual person, is intended to perform such activities to take care of the individuals performing tasks in the organization. Okay, so their discrimination will go in vain. You don't need to waste your time, you just be ethical. Alright, perform ethically. And then it comes occupational safety and health issues. Now these has to be taken, care has to be taken while the carrying out of the occupational activities, because some of the people are very unhygienic in the organization. Alright, so you have to take care of your desk as well. You have to take care what are the issues being faced by your colleagues. In case they are having any kind of health issues, kindly inform your HRM about these, because in case the organization will be facing any kind of big issue, you will be responsible, because you were already aware about some of the negative activities, some of the health issues, okay, being faced by your colleague. So be very witty, you have to be very witty about it, you have to be very careful about it, you have to inform each and everything to your human resource managers. Alright, you have to create confidence in their minds regarding your work, your activities, and your ownership that you are holding for your work, right? Okay, these were all the practical scenarios where the ethics works. Now we'll be talking about ethical theories. See, some of the ethical theories have been derived from the past work experiences of some people, of some jurists also, and on that basis only we have formed 7 theories for ethics. Okay, so first theory is your deontological theory. Okay, it is also known as Kantian theory, because it was Mr. Kant was the person who has invented this Kantian theory, first Kantian theory. Okay, Kantian theory is known as deontological theory. Now this is made up of the word deont, which means the obligation or duty one ensures to perform, right? According to the deontological theory, whatever you are doing, your actions should be correct. Alright, you should be rightful in the actions being performed by you, whatever the consequence would be. The consequence would be wrong or right, but the actions being carrying out for those consequences should be rightful, correct. No wrong action should be there. Okay, according to the deontological theory, no wrong action shall be tolerated by the organization. And this is the theory which has been performed by each and every person in every organization. It is very prevalent, deontological theory. Okay, next theory is your utilitarian approach. Utilitarian approach is known as everyone's good. Utilitarian approach means behavior that focuses on the results and not the means of such action. For example, if I am stealing from rich and giving it to the poor, that would be good according to utilitarian approach. Alright, it is an ethics of welfare. Okay, किसी का भला करना is utilitarian approach, because in that case you never think what is good, what means you are using, right? Means are not at all of any importance. You have to take care of the consequence, that you are making someone satisfied, you are filling someone's life with happiness. That is a utilitarian approach. Whatever the means of actions are, you have to take care of the consequences, which should be good, which should be satisfactory. Alright, that is the utilitarian approach. Third theory, will be talking about the virtue theory. That is the most important theory, and that has to be inculcated in every individual's heart and mind. Okay, that is very important. Why? Because virtue theory comes from your heart, from your mind, from the character you are carrying. ओके, तो वर्च्यू थ्योरी का मीनिंग आपके सामने ये रखा जाता है. द वर्च्यू, I mean, virtue is the old term. Virtue theory is more concerned with answering the question of how to lead a good life, alright, or how to be a good person. For example, if someone is of good character, okay, and his or her friend has given him or her some jewelry to be for safekeeping, alright, has given him. For example, if I am here, okay, and someone has given me some jewelry or some valuable things to keep it with safety. So if I am of good virtue, if I am a good person, you will be thinking that the things have been given to me for safekeeping. But if I am a thief, so in case maybe the things will be given to me for safekeeping, but in case in your thinking, if I am a thief, alright, so you will be thinking that I have stolen those things, right? So virtue theory is the basic theory that has to be understood by every individual in their lives. Alright, fourth theory is justice theory. Justice theory, everyone know that no injustice should be faced by you, and you should stand for the justice only. That is the justice theory, that you are justifying your acts, alright. It does not depend on the consequences, it depends on the principles of equality. Okay, you should serve the purpose of equality in justice theory. You should not care about the consequences, and that is the main function being faced by our courts, our judiciaries. For example, they never think about the consequences. They just focus about giving justice to the victims, alright. And in our daily lives also, we should justify our acts. We should not be deceitful, we should not be fraudulent, alright. So this justice theory mainly focuses on principle of equality. Then fifth theory is theory of egoism, that is inbuilt in everyone.